what's up? This is Guillermo Izquierdo from Angelus Apatrida, and I want to say hello to everybody on Loud TV.
Hola, ¿qué tal?
Hola. Hola, ¿qué tal? ¿Cómo estás?
Muy bien, muy bien. Your new album is very technical also. 2 years after the Cabaret de la Guillotine in French.
Yes.
This time it's simply Angelus Apatrida.
Apatrida, yes.
Perfect. Yeah, there is a huge difference between both albums.
Cabaret de la Guillotine maybe is the most heavy metal album that we ever composed. But there are still many songs in this album, very powerful and strong as well, and fast, like, for example, One of Us or Downfall of the Nation. But yeah, it's true, it's like the Angelus Apatrida album has been composed, written, produced and recorded during a global pandemic, so it never happened before, and hopefully it will never happen again. So I think this is the main difference, and this is why the album looks and sounds faster and more aggressive and full of angriness, and I think it's the most important point of this difference, of course. But at the same time, I would say that maybe there was a small change in the tuning, so we're half step down now in the guitars and the bass. So this is the main difference as well in the sound, and it makes it to sound deeper and even bigger. I was able actually to sing in a different way, like lower vocals and more aggressive vocals that I was not able to do in the past. But still, I am able to sing as high as in the past. But yeah, this year is it's 2020 has been already fucked up year. So this is a perfect album for a very bad year.
For angry stuff, and you were talking about your voice. I don't know if you know the Swiss band GERD. You know this band?
I don't think.
It's more hardcore, but it's quite in the same range that your voice now. And I think Cabaret de la Guillotine was more heavy thrash, and this one is more hardcore thrash metal, more in your face.
Yeah, it's more crossover. Yeah, it would be more a crossover album. Some parts reminding some hardcore punk.
Yeah.
And actually, it's I've been always a huge fan of hardcore and punk rock music. It's one of my favorite musics ever as well since I was a kid. So I'm a huge fan since I was a kid, from Biohazard or Suicidal Tendencies, DRI, I don't know, Agnostic Front, and of course Anthrax, because they're one of the big four of the thrash metal, but they were more always into crossover than into the thrash metal, So yeah, this time I think that thanks to the tuning a bit down this, and of course all the angriness of this weird year of the pandemic, it made it fit and become a bit more hardcore. But it's still thrash metal, it's still heavy metal, so it's still Angelus Apatria, of course.
So you produced again this album, but you leave the product with to Zeuss, the famous producer and engineer for the mix and the mastering, which is a new step for the band.
Yeah, and I think that thanks to Zeuss, also the sound is quite different, because we've been working for the last 4 albums with Daniel Cardoso, which is a great friend of us, and he's a incredible professional. He's also the drummer for the UK band Anathema. But for this time, and because of the pandemic, because we wanted to try something different, we contact Zeuss, and we just talk to him, and maybe he would like to work with us. And I think it's another great point for this new album to sound a bit different, a bit more American. And of course, that Thrash is the producer of Rob Zombie or Hatebreed, and Hatebreed is one of the most important New York hardcore band right now.
Yeah.
So I think in that way, he also put that small ingredient of American hardcore or thrash to the new album, which actually we love. It's a very organic and natural album, and there's no technology at all. I mean, there's no triggers, there's almost no effects on vocals, and no effects on guitars. It's practically everything is super raw, and just what we were recording is what he was mixing, and there's no magic, there's no technology for the first time, because we always used a lot of technology in the past album, of course, like everybody do, trying to make a very good sound and sounding bigger and using triggers, and of course everything is played, but then you use extra magic to sound it better and like more round. But this time it was like, dude, we want something very raw and very organic and very natural. And he says, "Dad, my boy, I love to work like this." So we're really happy with this. So yeah, it's a good start for us as well. Hopefully we can work with him more in the future. But this time everything was fitting perfectly, like playing super fast and then changing completely and making even playing a beat down. That is the first time that we made a beat down so low, like turn, bah, you know. It's like I love that kind of rhythms. And this time, I mean, we could do all of this in just 10 songs. And even the songs are quite different in between, but there are many songs that they are different. There are different parts inside the same song. For example, Indoctrinate is like it could be like 3 songs in one. For example, and I'm really proud of that kind of thing, because this is the kind of music that I really like to I enjoy a lot when I'm listening to other bands and they are doing that kind of music. I enjoy it, the double. So I'm really proud of that, of course.
I wish I could see you live, tomorrow,
Yeah, man.
We could destroy the fucking place,
Yeah. I can't wait to see how it's gonna be on stage when we will back on tour. I can't wait to see the mosh pit with Indoctrinate or We Stand Alone or Disposable Liberty, man. It's gonna be hell.
On the artwork, very good artwork with, of course, different references to anarchy, like the A on the skull, but also we can see the guys there who were US anarchists.
So, yes. This is the last song of Cabaret de la Guillotine, the Martyrs of Chicago. I mean, are these guys. Thanks to them, we celebrate the 1st of May.
Yeah.
They were the guys who were fighting for everybody to have a journal of 8 hours, for example. So yeah, it's a kind of a cool story what happened at the end of the 19th century in the United States, and most of them were German immigrants that went to the USA to work in, and they were like represented in working class, of course. And it's like it's a very romantic story, actually. And this is not about politics with AA anarchy stuff. This is about history and about the great people who contributed to make a better world. And the Martyrs of Chicago, they were 8 great guys, and together with a lot of other workers, contributed for having the workers, a lot of workers, right? This is why we celebrate every year the 1st of May as the International Worker Day. So yeah, the rest of the artwork, it was an idea of Yula. He's the artist that we're working with for the last 3 albums, and since we told him that the album will be called Angelus Apatrid as well, he didn't know what to do exactly, so he decided to make this kind of a still life portrait with a different anarchists or like revolutionary stuff like rifles and bombs, and making like a piece of art mostly. It's and actually there are a lot of different parts of our previous albums and our previous songs in the artwork that you can see over there, and of course that demon down the table, like about to explode everything. So I think it's a very cool artwork. It's like I'm really looking forward to having it like printed like in the big size and putting on my there in the wall of my house. Like it looks awesome, and I can't wait to see the cover on LP on the album, the big size. I think it's one of those old school covers that it's I mean, full of details and very nice art by Giula Havangsak.
All right. So because of you are talking about patriots in this album, you are talking about false patriots. Behold the downfall of the nation. You know, and of course it's funny, but because you have written that last year, but it's when you see the images of the U.S. Capitol, you know, it's crazy.
Yeah, that's the other day we post this on Facebook and Instagram, was like just watching the false patriots, like we call it the downfall. It's like, I am the most patriot. It's like, what the fuck, man? This is fucking and stupid populism, you know. But it's not only in the United States. It's happening everywhere. In Spain, of course, it's the most patriotic people and flag waving, you know. It's like, this is my flag. I love my flag. It's like, what? Yeah, this is your flag, but your country and your homeland is your neighborhood, and it's your family and your friends, and it's me because I am your neighborhood. I am your neighbor as well, and you know, it's like I would never think about making terrorist attacks in nowhere, but not even in my own country. Like we were watching in the Capitol in Washington. You know, it's like, it was kind of crazy. It's like, dude, every year that there are happening more things that we were writing on our lyrics, and it's kind of funny, and at the same time it's kind of frightful.
I was, of course, thinking about John Schaffer, and it's terribly, it's terrible, but
yeah, well, you know, it's like the thing with the pandemic. I also think that the people is losing control a bit. So I mean, I've been a huge fan of Ice Earth all my life. I really love the music of Ice Earth, and John Schaffer has been always a big influence in the way of playing guitar, especially the right hand. When I was learning how to play guitar when I was a kid, I was just listening a lot of albums from Ice Earth, and that kind of riffs is amazing. And I will always respect him for this, and I will try to separate, of course, the person, George Schaffer, and the artist, of course. I think it's an important thing to do. And of course, I will never support that kind of act nowhere, not only in the Capitol, but I will never support the violence or that kind of acts. But in the end, I mean, I will try to separate this, and the other hand, I think that, like I was saying before, like the pandemic and other stuff is pissing people off a lot, and some people are very desperate and they don't know what to do. It's like they need to blame something else, or they need to blame someone else. So it's like, okay, this is not my fault, and I'm losing my job. And then I see this every day here in my country as well. Like, people are blaming everybody for this, and they are blaming the government. Of course, the government is guilty of a lot of things, but they are blaming the immigrants, they are blaming the other people, they are blaming the Chinese, they are blaming everybody. It's like, okay, why don't you blame yourself? Not yourself, but why don't we blame our society? Like, maybe it's our fault what is happening right now. So yeah, that I hope that people will just think twice that kind of things, and maybe John Schaffer will just repent of what he did and try to calm down, because you know, that's that kind of people is the one that you see in the newspaper that get a rifle and start killing people on the street. That is like crazy things that happen. So I think that things will not be that bad, and this guy will come back to sanity and maybe apologize for what he did. And I don't know. I will keep on enjoying his music. I really like Ice Earth, and I will keep on playing some tunes from him, because it fucking rips. It did. I don't like the guy, but I love the artist.